All right, back with another round of difficult conversations and going to continue on with the themes from the previous videos and remembering that we have the facts, the feelings, and the identity conversations going on whenever you're having a confrontation or something like that. So it's the facts conversation that I'm going to talk about. And the reason I'm putting it in quotes is because at the end of this short little video, I hope that you do understand that when you're really debating the facts with somebody during a confrontation or a conflict with your partner, at home, family, at work, things like that, it's really not about the facts. Okay, so I've done a post on this. It looks like this. It's called the ladder of inference. And this was a theory and a model put forward by Chris Agiris, and he's an organizational psychologist. But really, this goes, for any type of interaction, because it's all about how we think and perceive information. So there's three key points that I want to put out first. And number one is that your perceptions are partial. Okay, so the facts conversation is really just at best part of the entire, the entire scene. Number two, stop arguing about who is right. Stop it. It does not matter, okay? When you've gotten to a point where a conversation becomes difficult, emotions are high, people are defensive, and things like that, it really does not matter about who is right at that point, and we'll see why in a second. And then the third thing is to get curious about their perspective. Now, when you understand the ladder of inference, you'll understand the value of asking about their perspective and how they came to it. So there's 4 levels to the ladder of inference. The base level is all of the available data in the environment. So how do we gather data? Of course, with our 5 senses. So everything you can see, hear, touch, taste, and smell going on in the room, objective reality, right? This is actual facts, everything there. But we cannot pick up on all of that. So we have the next level up on the ladder is data selection. And this is what we notice. And how do we notice this stuff? Well, it's based on our past experience. This is all mostly subconscious of what to look for, what to listen for when we're in a room talking to people and things like that. It's all based on past experience. So we're selecting data. This is the second level up based on what our mind thinks will be important. All right. The next level up is reasoning and interpretation. So this is where we add our spin to it, the meaning that we give to the selected data that we've picked up on, right? So this is assumptions, essentially. This is inferences, all right? So, and I'll run through an example in a second, but we're picking up on the data and then we ascribe the meaning to it. And of course, this is an inference. And then the last level, the top level, is conclusions. So this is the one-liners, the headline of the interaction. He disrespected me, or he doesn't care about me, or he's lazy, or he thinks this. It's the final conclusion. It's the thing you tweet out. It's the short thing that we can put into language to solidify our belief about what happened. So an example of how we might climb the ladder and lead to an inference and get into a difficult conversation, if we're running a meeting or speaking during a group, and other people are talking, or we get interrupted and things like that, this is what we notice, and this is the data that we're selecting, and we're adding the interpretation of that they don't care about what we're saying. We could even get triggered and begin to think that we're not making sense, or I'm not an expert, I'm boring, or get aggressive on the other end, they're disrespectful, and this would be the conclusions that you come to. But it could be that maybe they're really interested and that's why they're speaking, or the person's explaining it to someone else. There's other interpretations, and that's why it's super important that you remember the keys. Your perceptions are partial. Stop arguing about who is right. And then the third one, get curious about their perspective. But this is just a general example, but I look forward to going over specific examples with you guys during the webinars, the Q&A. There'll be time for Q&A, but during the workshops especially, when I'll give you a whole workbook to go through to where you really apply these principles to your life and really change your habits. There's also a big role play experience during it where you get to practice how to implement these skills. So look forward to these. The topics, the webinar next week will lay out the topics. It's negotiations, difficult conversations, assertiveness, feedback, conversations, bias, and conflict. This is what I'll be covering. Give you some time to ask and answer questions. So I look forward to that. All right, take care.